Hi, I'm Shannon, and I'm doing Chapter 5.4, Factoring the Sum and Differences of Cubes. When factoring the sums and differences of cubes, you have to be sure to factor completely, which means to factor until there aren't any more solutions or until all the numbers are prime numbers. So when you have the sum of a cube, it generally looks like this when you start. A cubed plus b cubed. So when factoring it, you have to put it into this formula, which you need to memorize because it won't be given to you on tests and finals. It's a plus b, a squared minus, it has to be the opposite sign of the original equation, always.
Oh my gosh, it's like
a times b plus b squared. And then differences of squares generally look like this. A cubed minus b cubed. And when factoring it, it goes into this formula, which is a minus b, a squared plus, because remember it has to be the opposite sign, and then a times b plus b squared. So the first example that I have for the sum is x cubed plus 8. They both can be cube rooted, so you can solve it easily, which would just be x plus 2, and then this is a and this is b, so x would have to be squared, and then you multiply x and 2 and get 2x, and then you have to square root the 2 and you get 4, and then there's the complete answer. The second example is a little more complicated. It's negative 5z cubed plus 64, and it's actually 320. And since 320 can't be cube rooted, you have to pull out the negative 5. And when you do that, you get negative 5 on the outside, and then z cubed rooted or cubed plus 64. Actually, this becomes a negative. And so since it's now negative instead of a positive, it's going to be negative 5. So when you cube root it, it's going to be z minus 4z squared, and it has to be a plus since it was now changed to a difference of squares, plus 4z plus b squared, which is 16. The next examples are going to be for the difference of squares. And the first example is y cubed minus 64. So to cube root that, it goes in evenly. So it's y minus 4 y squared plus, because it has to be the opposite sign, 4y plus 16, and there's your final answer. The more difficult one is 192w cubed minus 3. And since this doesn't go into, can't be cube rooted, you want to pull out the 3, and you get 64w cubed minus 1, and then you have to factor it, which would be 4w minus 1, 16w squared plus 4w plus 1. And then that is the final answer. So just be sure to memorize these two formulas and to remember to do the opposite signs, and you're good.